Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Stop, Look, and Listen. My name is LaTroy Gardner. This week's guest, we have multi-award winning singer, songwriter, Philadelphia's finest. Just released her 7th album, Love Absolute. Vivian Green. Welcome to the show, Vivian.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. It's a pleasure. So, as I just stated, you just released your 7th album, Love Absolute. Compare and contrast Vivian Green from November 2002, releasing a love story, to Vivian now dropping Love Absolute in November 2020.
Perhaps it would only be contrasting. Yeah, just different person, same name. It's just a more mature woman, different perspective on things, different point of view for most things. If I have to refer to my first album, different way the album was created, different kind of, and I want to be careful with this one because I wasn't my record label was not the kind to necessarily tell me what to do. So I want to be careful when I say this, but I am in much more control than I ever was with my first project. I was influenced. I was not told to be sure I say that, so no one from Sony comes and be like, "Hey, we didn't have no." But I was greatly influenced by lots of people on my first album, and I was very young and very impressionable, and I thought that everyone else knew better than me, and so I went along with certain things, whether it's music choices or what I had on. I just kind of went along with what people said was great or would be great. And so I don't even like my first album. So I think that's a result of, with the exception of songs like What Is Love and No Stand by the Phone, The Final Hour. Those are probably, my favorites. Or Superwoman. There's some I like, and then there's some that where the music was following the trend of the time.
Right.
And then there were people who thought that because I recorded songs to music that was trending the time, that I was this super neo, super soul artist that I never was. So, okay. And then every album after that was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not writing 20 tracks that I know don't really represent who I truly am as an artist. And I'm not going to be influenced by whatever nothing. So for my second album, there's a huge contrast between my first and second albums because of those things, because I saw what happened. I saw I want to say that it was an adverse effect. That's what I'll say, because it was the transition between the first, and I'll get to this album, but between the first and second albums was a huge difference. If you listen to the album sonically, what I look like, everything was just different, because I really didn't think it was fair to myself or to the genre. When I think of someone who I absolutely love, like Erykah Badu, I'm like, nothing I've ever done resembles anything that she's done.
Right.
And I think of her as like the queen of neo soul, so that's why I named her. And like her music is sacred in so many ways. Like the things that she talks about, she's always, like, most of her lyrics are, very, very conscious, and I think that's a big part of neo soul, a lot of neo soul music, especially at that time in 2002. And like, I'd never had that factor. There's not one song on my first album that talks about any situation in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, from her first single, she's on some other stuff. Like, my music is not doing that. So why do people keep saying that, I am like people that I'm clearly not like? And it just kind of was very interesting for me, because you can't put on a long yellow skirt that's pretty and put a red flower in somebody's hair and all of a sudden I'm Erykah Badu Jr. Like, no, I never was. And And I would never pretend to be. And like I said, I love her.
Right.
So and I, like I said, I'm naming her because I think she's like the queen in neo soul. So
Well, you definitely sort of walked into what I was going to ask you about,
yeah.
as far as feeling like he was being boxed in as a neo
Hell
soul.
yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. But again, a lot of it was like I was boxed in because we gave the project itself gave people reasons to do that. You know, if the only visual that you have for an album is this very neo soul looking style and all that, then that's what people are going to think. Like we never made a follow up video to be like, okay, she just doesn't wear that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She looks and you know she has different looks. Like that's not the only way she looks, but it's like you just put the one single out, the one visual, and then you have, you know, songs on my first album like Fanatic or Keep On Going that are very much following those neo soul trends. Then it can make people, then you know, you sing background for Jill Scott, and then people just think like, oh, they're all a clique, or you know, Jill Scott got her signed, or she comes from that camp. It ends up being like all these fake lies.
Right.
that were never the truth. And then when I tried to correct things on my second album, you know, a lot of people who, you know, who love those artists, and you know, and I love them too, but it's like, oh, well, if she's not like them, then I'm not effing with her, you know. And then a lot of people just were like, they were done with me, you know. But the thing about that is I was okay with that, because what I learned is that I did not like my first album. I did not like what it represented or what people thought. And I really suck like badly at trying to be anybody else but myself.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter like what happened, like it was a relief for me that I could just be myself and be happy with something that I did, and not be so influenced by and thinking everybody else knows best for me than I know for me. And you know, and like I said, it doesn't matter to me if I lost fans in that process, because I have to be myself. So with that all being said, Love Absolute is completely me in every way. What I look like, what I have on, what it sounds like, the whole thing. It is not influenced by a soul. But the person that I made it with, Kwame, and this is our third album together, and I don't mind us. We influence each other to do things, and that's one that I gladly accept, and it's not something that I would not do. So totally different in that way. So just as a person, as like as a woman, you know, my perspective on life and love and growth and all that, I'm completely different than 2000. Well, let's say 2000, 2001, because that's when I was making the album.
Uh-huh.
And to now, it's like it's just all so different. It's just also, I would never put something on that I didn't want to wear. You know,
Let
now.
me let
It's
me
just something that would never happen. I would never put a red flower in my hair because I know I don't wear red flowers in my hair.
So first off, I want to give a shout out to the boy genius, Kwame.
Yay.
We had him on our show about 10 years ago when he was working, I think, with Talib Kweli. So shouts to Kwame. We're friends on Facebook. We interact on occasion. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll bring him back sometime in the near future.
Oh,
But
interviews, he would come back.
okay, cool. Yeah, so you were saying that you two started working together with your fifth album, Vivid.
Yeah.
And I almost see it. It was like a cocoon transforming into a butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Kwame is really, he's just a very talented person. He's one of the most talented people I know. And not just for music, he's just like one of these all around creative people. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't have that much talent.
Stop lying.
No, like you know, like someone that's just all around creative and like in every single thing they do. Like I'm really honestly not that person. You know, I don't get up in the morning and think of like the fly outfit I'm going to put on today, or then like just draw a portrait before breakfast. Like I'm just, and then make a song. Like that's Kwame. That's not me. So he's just this burst of creativity, and you know, it's really it's fantastic. The things that we've done together, the places that I've gone musically that I would have never thought to go, that I was totally into it and trying it out, just to see what would happen, you know. And even like there definitely have been some things where I'm like, yeah, I don't think my fans are gonna like that because my fans are super fickle. And I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna like that, Kwame. You know, I've done a lot of between Vivian, my second album, and Vivid, I've done a lot of things that I definitely like, but that I know, just from that first album experience, my fans are just fickle with certain things,
Right.
and I'm like, I don't know. This is like Get Right Back to My Baby, and I'm like, I don't know if my fans are gonna like that, but we'll see if they do. And he's like, I know people are gonna love it because it's just an urgent record, and sometimes people love music, will love a song and don't even care who it is until after the fact, but the song just makes them kind of bop like out the gate. And he's into like urgent records like that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to make something that it doesn't matter who's singing it. They can find that out later, but I'm gonna grab them first with this music and this song. And I never thought in that, in that pattern,
Yeah.
and he thinks like that. And I think things like that, those kinds of differences between us just really allow us to work really fantastically together. And Get Right Back to My Baby was my highest performing single since Gotta Go Gotta Leave.
Well,
My
I
second
think
went to number one, and Get Right Back to My Baby was that's like years later, almost 10 years later. So yeah, he we worked really great together, and that's why Love Absolute is our third album together, because if it ain't broke,
you don't, yeah, don't fix it. Because
yeah,
I
don't
I wanted to make
try.
one I wanted to make one quick point about Get Right Back to My Baby. I have a bone to pick, and that's the fact that the slow version, the Lovers remix, is hard to find, and it's amazing. Like,
Oh, you heard that?
yeah, I heard it on Sirius XM on Cayman Kelly's show.
I don't even think I knew came and played it. Oh wow, yeah. You know what? We were trying to do a version for like all of my singles up until that point were ballads. And so certain radio slots, like shows, were
Mhm.
like, well, we love Vivian, but the record's too fast,
Right.
a lot of UAC programming, there's not a lot of up tempo, like true up tempo songs on there. And so it kind of became a problem a little bit in the beginning with radio, like trying to get them to budge. And so we were like, well, let's make something that Keith Sweat can play on his Quiet Storm, and that that people can play. And so that's why we did that. But then the up tempo version just ended up taking off, and then people didn't really use it. So,
Hmm.
so I think that's why we don't hear it that much, and why not too many people have it, because they just ended up going with the fast version at the end of the day. So, which was cool. So,
Okay. Cool. So yeah, let's get into Love Absolute. So
yeah,
couple standouts that I want you to kind of delve into.
yeah.
Obviously, You Send Me. You was going places on You Send Me. To the Milky Way, to the moon, to the stars. It had to have been a better ride than a roller coaster, huh?
Oh yes, for sure. For sure. Well, You Send Me is the first instant grat track that we released leading up to the release of the album. So it's the first song people heard from Love Absolute, and people just took to it. Like, so many great playlists just took to it and just loved it. And so it's really been great how it's been received. Well, when I wrote it, oh, I didn't tell you. So Love Absolute, I wrote most of Love Absolute at the piano. So this is
Uh-huh.
what makes this project different from any other album I've made, honestly, because you just get used to receiving tracks from people and writing to the tracks. You just kind of get in the habit of that. And I don't know how I strayed so far away from the beginnings of my songwriting, which started at the piano as a tween, in the basement of, of my house, and with no studio, no producer, no nothing, So, but through the years, I've lost that, and I had an epiphany before we started making this album. Like, you know what? You have the up tempos, Kwame, because that's your strength. So I'm not gonna step on your toes there, but everything else, the ballads and the mid tempos, I have to start from scratch at the piano first. I want to make the chord structure. I want to do all that, make the music skeleton, and then you can write around it. And so that makes Love Absolute different from every other album. And You Send Me, I wrote this way at the piano, and I'm not really good with like explicit writing. That's not my thing. I don't curse in my songs like that. And maybe I've said shit a time or two,
Mhm.
but it's like not a theme of how I write.
Right.
And so and that's just like about anything. So I don't like to be explicit about intimacy either. And I know people do, but it's kind of just not my thing. So I wanted to come up with, a metaphor for intimacy and how to make it, put it in a song, but never actually mention sex at all, you know. And so that's what You Send Me is about.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my favorite song on the album.
Oh, is
It
it
is.
really? Yay! Thank
And
you, thank you.
then some of the other standouts that I like, This Love and Sweet
Mm.
Home.
I love This Love, and I love, you know what? I really love this whole album, so I'm really biased right now. But
I see that, but you should be.
but I'm glad that you have these favorites. Yay! Okay, so This Love, I love This Love. Let me tell you. So Kwame and I, we really are big Sade fans. We love her, and we did another song on the Vivid album called Disrespectful. That was like in that world music Sade vein, and we wanted to
Hmm.
do something similar to that this time, but we wanted to have like a hard edge to it. So I think the verses are just remind me of something that she would do, like and it's kind of slow. It's flowing very slow over the track. That's like something she would do, and I just love like the lovers rock slash hip hop track that he made to it because it goes super hard. But
Right.
I'm not really doing anything super hard, so it's a nice contrast, and I think we work well in that way. Like we're doing kind of opposite things, but it all comes together and makes sense. And I think it's great to touch on when women sometimes can mess up a relationship. Usually, it's always like the guy did this, but sometimes we can mess the relationship up by not being open or vulnerable enough, or maybe we were hurt the last time and now we're not open to this really fantastic guy who's so good to us, who does everything right, and you're not letting your guard down, and then
Hmm.
it ends up not working out, and that ultimately that would be our fault. So I wanted to just talk about that because usually we don't.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely speak from experience on that.
Yeah.
Um,
And Sweet
so
Home was
yep, Sweet
uh,
Home.
Sweet Home is, I am very private. Like social media is a very difficult thing for me to include in my life now. And I have to, obviously, because I'm a singer. But if I weren't, I wouldn't have any accounts, honestly. So I don't put my love life on social media. I don't think I ever will. It's just not for me. And I'm not the kind of woman who I don't need to flaunt it. I don't need to tell everybody about I don't need to do that, because then what we have, we've been together almost 10 years now, and what we have is just super solid. And I know that that's my home, and I don't have to boast about it to make it real, because it is so real, and all the people who need to know, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Our families, our kids, all the people, all the important people, they know, but it's just not everybody's business.
Right.
And that is so indicative of me, of who I actually really am. Like that song is total autobiographical.
Okay, cool.
Totally autobiographical.
So you don't have to touch on this one, but I want to thank you for shouting out my backyard on We Are Everywhere.
Oh, okay. Which city?
I'm from the Charleston, South
Ah,
Carolina area, so I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh
You-
yeah. Well, that whole Battery area, that was where it all went down.
right. Are you familiar with Beaufort, South Carolina?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so St. Helena Island, that's where I'm from. That's
Uh-huh.
where
I've been there though. I've been there.
okay, that's my hometown.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've totally been there. I think the islands in South Carolina are um they really should be explored by everybody. Like I just think so many of the states have like little best kept secrets that people don't. If you don't live there, you don't really know about them.
Right.
So yeah, I love South Carolina. I really do.
Cool. So
Yeah.
we're kind of running short on time, but I have one more question. So like in the vein of LSG and TGT, um, what two artists would you join forces with to form a group?
Oh, okay. I was so confused. Like, but what? I'm sorry. You saw my face. I'm like, well, what's
Yeah.
I understand now. Um, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Okay, here you go. I would want to be. I don't. Well, okay. This is a hard question. I'm sorry. It's a really hard question because I really never thought of it before.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think it should be? I'll throw it back.
Um, I think you and Alicia sort of have a similar tone.
Yeah, we both have a raspy tone. I love Alicia though. So all right, I'll be in a group with her. Who else?
Then you want to go old school?
Yes.
Let's go old school. Ooh. Well, I mean, let's have a firecracker in there. Let's go with Patty.
Oh my God, really? Yeah, me and Alicia are gonna be her background singer at the live concert. Anyway, we're gonna have to step to the side.
Are you keeping your shoes on?
Oh, that is so funny. That is very interesting. I really love Miss Patty. She allowed me to sing on her, invited me to sing on her Christmas album in 2017. So that was really cool that I actually got to sing on a Miss Patty LaBelle album. So yay! So of course I love Miss Patty, but I think Alicia's good. I don't know who I don't know who will. I like Alicia.
Or what about someone like new school, like Snow Allegra, somebody like that?
Oh yeah, I like her. Okay, so is it a trio or we need one more member?
No, let's keep it a trio. Keep it a trio.
All right, I like them all, so that'll work. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So. If you're doing any of these drive-in concerts, if you need to plug that too, just feel free. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm Vivian Green. My new album, Love Absolute, is available right now on all of the streaming platforms. All of them. You can listen right now. It's my 7th album. I really, really, really love it. And you can follow me on social media at I am Vivian Green. That is everything across the board. I am Vivian Green, and my website is viviangreenmusic.com. I don't have any concerts coming up, unfortunately, right now. I did do a drive-in concert last weekend. It was very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. I look forward to doing some more, but right now everything I'm doing has been online. So I will keep everyone posted to what I'm doing. Just follow me on social media. The next time I do have a live in-person show, you will know about it if you follow me. So that's it, and thanks for having me.
No problem. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for your 18 years in the game. You know, delivering nothing but consistent music, whether you liked it or not.
Thank you.
So everyone, make sure you check out Vivian's 7th album, Love Absolute, available now. For Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm LaTroy Gardner.
Many blessings to you too, LaTroy. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you for checking us out on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe for more great content. And don't forget to check us out on social media at GOB Radio Network.